I used to spend 3 hours every morning just researching accounts, opening spreadsheets, pulling company intel, and then drafting emails. And after all of that, maybe sending follow-up docs on top of that. It was pretty soul-crushing, took a lot of my time, but this last month, I automated basically all of that. And I want to show you exactly how. The tool that I'm using, Claude Cowork. It's a desktop agent that just launched, and honestly, it's the thing I've been waiting for in automation for years. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what it can do and how to set it up for your own workflow. Let's check it out. Welcome back. If you're new to the channel, my name is Zarif, and I help you build automation workflows that make your job easier. Now, most of the time, I'll do a ton of my work out of an LLM like Claude or build a workflow in end-to-end. But something's been missing from the automation world for a while now. Something that can actually understand context, make decisions like a human would, and interact with tools on my computer. Now, originally that was me, being able to do the work manually or paying for an expensive automation tool that required a developer to set up. But in January, Anthropic released Claude Cowork. It's a desktop agent, and in February, it got coverage from CNBC and CNN. Claude Cowork is a bit different from some of the automation tools that you've seen in the past, like Zapier and N8N. And it's different because it's a desktop agent. It lives on your computer. It can access local files. It can browse the web in real time. It can create documents, run code, and coordinate with other agents to accomplish bigger goals. Think of it as having a smart colleague who can do research, write, create, and execute, all without leaving your desk. Now, up to this point, we've seen engineers have access to Claude Code, which allows them to develop at the speed of light. Now, with Claude Cowork, it's more geared towards business stakeholders. So if you're a sales rep, a business development manager, or anything with repetitive research and creating documents, this is built for you. You don't need to know how to code. You don't need to know how to use any automation tool. You just need to describe what you want done, and Cowork figures it out. So today we're going to walk through the workflow that I figured out pretty recently, and you can apply that to your own job, anything that is manual and time-taking, and we'll see how we can automate that. All right, let's get into it. The first thing is you need Claude Desktop. This is the app that Anthropic released alongside Cowork. If you already use Claude through the web browser, this is the desktop version, and it's free to download, so you can find it on the Claude website. And then once you have either a Pro or Max plan, you'll see this Cowork tab. That's what I'm operating out of right now. It's basically a feature inside Claude that lets you set up a workspace on your computer, and now Claude can interact with everything in that folder, be able to create new directories, whatever you direct it to do. But that's a really key part, is that it is a desktop agent. It's not running in the cloud somewhere. It has access to this workspace. So that's what we're going to see here. It's already structured and ready to use. And anything that we create using Cowork will be existing in this folder. Now we're going to test out a prompt to show you exactly what Claude Cowork is capable of. And the most important part is that it can actually handle multiple tasks and run those tasks in parallel to get the end job done. So you can actually ask it to do quite a few things, and it will intelligently understand what tasks it needs to complete to finish the end job. So let's just say, for example, we're all sales reps and we want to accomplish a few things. And let's say in the morning, I'm doing some outbounding. So I can say, today I'm going to prospect into Nike, Louis Vuitton. What's another one? Palantir. I give it some context on what I'm going to be doing overall. Then I can break it into tasks. So I can say, first, use deep research on all of these companies, identify important news, look at their latest 10K, and create a document that is a research PDF. Store it in this directory. So with this first task, we're going to be doing deep research. We're going to look at news and we're going to look at their financials. And then it will be able to create a PDF that we can use as research for when we actually speak to the prospect or maybe for future outbound messages. So then what I can do is, using the research document, develop a POV. So I can say, use the research to develop a POV of how N8N can help with their business challenges. So I can say, use both research documents for each company to develop a 2-step outbound sequence for an IT stakeholder. So I can ship that off. And now what Claude is going to do take a holistic look at everything that we've requested. It's going to break it down into which companies that we're targeting. Then it's going to do deep research on every single company. It's going to focus on the news that we're requesting. It's going to focus on the financials. And then it's actually going to create a research PDF that we can use for today's purposes for the sequencing, but then also for our initial conversation once we land that meeting. So here you can see that it's going to prompt me with some questions so it knows it can do that research accurately. So I can say, hey, what's your role at NADN? I'm an account executive. It can obviously intelligently understand and ask the right questions. For the outbound sequence, what channel should the two steps use? Email, LinkedIn. Let's go email. What IT stakeholder title should we target? Let's go for the top. Let's go for the VP. And it's going to ask those initial questions, and it will truly tailor, and it will work against exactly what we feed it. So this can be highly customized. But what's really crazy is that you normally weren't able to do multiple tasks, right? We're targeting Nike, Louis Vuitton, and Palantir. But now with Claude Cowork, you can use it just like engineers use Claude Code. We can set up multiple tasks that we want to accomplish. It can kick off sub-agents, which allows us to process multiple requests at once. So you can research Nike, Louis Vuitton, and other companies all at once, and then be able to create the deliverables at a much faster pace. I'm showing you 3 prospects today, but imagine you have a list of 50 accounts. You plug that in here, and it's going to research all of that in parallel. So now you don't have to waste all of your time doing all this manual research. You can have AI do this for you. So Claude Cowork has definitely transformed the way that I do a lot of my research as well as other sales activities. If you ever use Claude Deep Research, it is pretty intensive. It can look across hundreds of sources to make sure that it pulls the most accurate information. And in this scenario, we're processing it in parallel. So we're doing this for 3 different companies all at once. So that's all happening in the background. It's accessing the web, checking a bunch of different sources, making sure it's accurate. And as a human, that would take hours just for one account. Here we are kicking off deep research on all 3 companies in parallel. That is just crazy. And on the side here, you can see the task that has been broken down to 8 different tasks. We're already on the 5th. It's been like 2 minutes max. Right now, it's going to be creating the research PDFs. After that, we'll get the POVs, and then we'll have the email sequences. So a lot of work done in minutes. You can plug in your entire account list, let Claude pick through it all, and you come back after your morning coffee to see that most of your work is done and you can just ship it off. So it's been about 20 minutes, and we got all 3 research PDFs. We've got the POV and the outbound sequences as well. So it's all stored here. It's in the directory that we've been working out of. Let's take a look at maybe one research document and then the outbound sequences as well. All right, here we've got the Nike account research, some ugly formatting, but let's see what we've got. HQ, employees, current stock price, the key executives. We see some of the financials here as well. We've got recent news like the win now strategy, tariff crisis, the current business challenges, the current tech stack. So just a lot of great information that would normally take hours to get. And then if we have a research document that we want to particularly imitate, we can feed that into Claude 2 and it can be very custom. Now that we've seen the research PDF, let's see what type of sequences it was able to build. So here we've got the POV and outbound strategy for these 3 companies. It looks like a professional report. We've got a table of contents. So why and then for Nike, we've got a perspective on business challenges that they have, the tech stack. It's going to be really custom. We can see some use cases for Nike where we can help automate, and then the ROI angle that we can talk about. Let's take a look at some of the sequences. We've got a subject. It relates to my product as well as how it relates to the business challenges. Congrats on the new IT leadership. So it's referencing recent news, referencing the tech stack, so it's custom, talking about some of their tech sprawl, how they have 400 apps and APIs. Would it be worth a 15-minute conversation? Nice. Okay. And then here we've got a reply to the first outbound message, accelerating supply chain automation, what's working well, and then how NADN can help. Happy to share a 5-minute demo of how this works, different call to action. And then as we go through this document, we can see that it does the same for LVMH as well as Palantir. So you can start to see that in a matter of 20 minutes, it's done the research that would normally take like a day. It creates these assets for you that you can continuously access as you need time. It's not just like a one-time thing. And When you think about the scale of this, if you have a large book to address, you can have Claude Cowork do that autonomously for you. And then you can come back after a coffee and see all this laid out for you. So this morning research workflow that we just talked about is really powerful in itself. But lately, Cowork has been releasing integrations into Outreach, directly into your email, to your Google Drive. So what if we took this process one level deeper? What if we connected it into your entire sales process? Imagine every morning we did the research just like we did. We draft up our emails, but then we can actually push it out into Outreach, sequence the right folks. We can track who opened the emails, which ones got replies, and based on those replies, follow up email. Connect them to Google Calendar. We can set up future calls. I think the way that Claude Cowork is going, being able to automate sales tasks and business tasks in general, is really going to change the game on how individual contributors are going to be able to perform against their jobs. You see that layers on layers are continuously being added. Another thing that I was looking into is how Cowork can pull data from Apollo or Clay during the research step. So you can get highly custom with the research step alone, but then also the future steps to be able to autonomously do a lot of the manual work in your job. To bounce back and forth through all the different tools during your job, you can use Claude Cowork as the central nervous system to operate with all your other softwares. So this is the direction I'm building towards on this channel, find out ways how we can make the manual tasks a lot easier. And I go deeper in my school community. If you like content like this, you'll certainly like some of the stuff I have in my school community. We talk about topics like this and creative ways that we can get more done together. Link is in the description. We'd love to see you there. All right, y'all, let me sum this up. Claude Cowork launched in January. The news is covering it. And honestly, the hype is justified because it's different than a lot of the other automation tools out there. It's not low code. It's not a workflow builder. It's an AI agent that can really interact with your day-to-day software tasks. And then it can coordinate that through a multi-step workflow without telling you exactly how it does it. For sales reps, this means hours of research and document creation replaced by a single prompt. For automation builders, this means a tool that handles a lot of the stuff that's too complex or too context heavy for traditional automation. If you're tired of spending your mornings on manual research and email drafting, and if you're ready to actually automate your sales workflow, you should seriously consider checking out Claude Cowork because it is the tool to start with right now. Again, if you like content like this and want to learn more, check out my school community. The link is in the description. If you like content about AI, automation, and making yourself a more productive person, whether that's for your business or for your job, please leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out. Tell me in the comments what's the most repetitive task that you want to automate and see if you can get it done in Claude Cowork. Excited to see what you create, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.